We're absolutely privileged to be here with Kate Sweetman, and she's the co-author of a book, Reinvention. Going to talk everything disruption, we're going to talk about life, we're going to talk about her stories, and we're really delighted to have you here, Kate. Welcome.
I'm completely delighted to be here.
Super. What are the kind of core values that you had as you were growing up and going through university and shaping your early career?
Probably two things. One, I'm a pretty hard worker. The other thing is, I think I feel a sense of obligation to do something a bit larger with my life.
Could you just take us quickly through your career and the kind of key jobs that you did? And
I am the epitome of reinvention,
okay.
so I know of what I speak. First of all, I really had no idea. I think when I got out of college, I had 4 jobs in 4 years. And then I said, well, if I'm going to do this thing, this business thing, I should do it right. So then I ended up going to Harvard Business School. I worked in consulting for a while, and that was great. And I learned so much about the world because we worked with Fortune 200 companies during a time when these companies were all expanding around the globe. So it was an amazing experience of seeing how that all happened.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to get a job at Harvard Business Review, where I was the editor on the leadership desk, in effect.
What experiences did you get there that you can share with us today?
What you learn when you actually work with them is that they're people.
Yes.
And they're not perfect. As much as they are amazingly accomplished, you actually can contribute something to help them to become even better. So that to me was a real confidence builder. And just to see how somebody like that at that level operates, and to say, you know what, it's not really totally out of reach. In fact, anybody who applies themselves can, in fact, be so much better than they think they are. You've just got to say, you know what, let's stand back from this thing and let's see what it is we got to work with.
Yeah.
You know, I think scenario planning is actually a really good way to kind of unlock the dilemma piece of it, where you feel like it's an either or but to look at, there's a range of things that could happen. There's a range of options that we can apply. I think that takes away a lot of the fear factor. It puts you a bit more in control. We can't cruise anymore. I think there was a time, and I'm sure that there are exceptions, but I think there was a time when you could write a great book and you could cruise your great book.
Yeah.
But you know somebody else is going to come along.
Right.
Somebody else is going to come along and they're going to write a better book. And so I think you've got to constantly be saying, I'm happy with what I did, and what can I do next?
So what advice would you give to your 21-year-old self today?
Well, I have 2 18-year-old daughters, so I guess I could give advice then.
Absolutely.
You know what? Be fearless. Don't worry so much.
Okay.
You know, be happy that you have the resources within you. Find people who can help you. Don't feel that you need to do something conventional. That's my advice to them.
What is your view on failure?
But you have to really believe in what you're doing and say, I am going to succeed at this. People who are successful fail just as much as people who are unsuccessful.
Yes.
And the difference is their reaction to it.
Yes.
If you personalize it and internalize it, then you will diminish yourself and your self-image. If you say, oh, that didn't go well.
Exactly.
What can I learn from it? What should I do differently? Then you will go on and succeed.
One of the things I use on failure is fail fast, fail forward, fail frequently, fail frugally.
One of the things that I really like to do when working with a team is basically have everybody share their most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
Their worst failure. And the most important thing is you have to be able to talk. You get together and say, look, here's what's going right, here's what's going wrong. Here's what I'd have no idea how to deal with. You guys, help me out.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you get real shared energy and common spirit and camaraderie, and there's nothing to, and highly functional teams do that.
Jobs versus entrepreneurship.
Personally, I would say go for entrepreneurship. I would do that because, you ultimately have more control over what's going to happen in that place. You're going to be your own boss. You're going to create the environment that you want. You're going to create the culture that you want. You're going to bring in the people that you want. It's hard work. You'll make mistakes, et cetera, but ultimately you're shaping your own life.
Degrees versus learning.
All about learning. You know, I have some pretty fancy degrees, but I approach them as learning opportunities. Some people approach them as credentials and stamps. And the difference is how much do you throw yourself into learning and getting something out of it. And, life is the biggest credential or the biggest learning you could have.
Yeah.
I think it's well proven that you're much better off hiring for attitude than for a degree. You get better results with people who have good attitudes,
Yes.
a bit of humility, a willingness to learn, a desire to work hard, all those kinds of things, than people who are sort of resting on their laurel.
Yeah. We are educating our young people for jobs that don't yet exist.
I say what you're really doing is you're learning how to learn. It's less about the facts. I mean, there are certain facts, but it's more about, are you learning how to be fresh and open? Are you learning how to be curious? Are you learning how to assimilate, and integrate? So that's the number one thing. And two, I say, don't worry about your job. Who knows what the job is going to be? So you can't worry
Tell us
about
about your book, Reinvention.
that. Okay. So Reinvention, Accelerating Results in the Age of Disruption, is our effort to give very sound, practical advice around how do you navigate in times of great change. First of all, understanding that that's what's going on, because I think part of what gets in people's way is that they simply fight it. One of the things that we talk about in the book is this thing here to stay, or is this just some sort of strange, interval that we're in? And we say very clearly, this is here to stay.
That you can't just go 10% anymore. You have to change your mindset to think 10x. And that's one way to actually protect yourself from the future, by thinking 10 times. So you change the way you think. So you change the way we think about change.
Exactly.
Would you agree with that?
I mean, you have to say, it's going to affect my day. But that means I'm going to be meeting new people, and I'm going to be learning new stuff, and I'm going to be taking on new skills, and I'm going to be growing. And you just fundamentally, you have to stop fighting it, and you have to start doing it.
What is the secret source of your success to
Mine?
date? Yes.
I think when it comes down to it, I'm willing to say, let's do something radically different.
What makes you happy?
Feeling like I'm doing a good job, whatever that job is. If it's working with my girls, or if it's working with a client, or if it's writing a book or an article, just feeling like, I think I figured it out, and I think I did a good job.
Yeah, because you're in this really privileged position that you can make a difference in the world. How are you doing that?
We love working with businesses, and it helps people in their real lives to do that, and to help people to have security in their livelihoods, and all that is really, really important. And it would be really cool to move beyond that into more of societal development, social development, helping people who are stuck in poverty, or just an outmoded way of living. I would like to help people live more joyful lives where they don't feel stuck. I think I sometimes do a good job of really listening to where they are at, and helping them hear themselves, and then helping them to move forward.
And what are you mad about? What are you passionate about? Please.
I really am passionate about helping people to move better into a different place.
It's wonderful.
Whoever they are in their lives.
Yes.
I mean, I'm very conscious of that with my girls. I teach them frameworks all the time, and I love to do that with people who are trying to make a better living.
Is there one takeaway that we could use tomorrow morning at work that will help to enhance our lives? Your views.
Just approach your life with openness and joy. I would just hope that people would go forward in their lives with joy and gratitude and bravery, and not worry so much about pleasing others and doing something that's conventional.
Thank you. We're here with Kate Sweetman. She spoke about her life, she spoke about her story. She is a supermom. She's mom, she's got a cape hanging at the back, and she's flying into the future. She has met and worked with some of the greatest authors and CEOs in the world, and today she's making a difference, and we're very grateful to have her here talking to us and sharing her ideas and so forth. Thank you, Kate. Really
What a
appreciate
pleasure, Tariq. Thank you.
it. Really nice to see you. Thank you.
Nice to see you.